Hello, today we will be ranking leaders from the popular grand strategy game Hearts of Iron 4. We won't be ranking all the leaders, but we'll be ranking a lot of them. Some I've excluded because I have no clue who they are, some I've excluded for obvious reasons, and some I've excluded because I probably forgot to put them in here, so yeah, there's that. Several factors will be considered, like their traits, their portrait quality, the community's perception of that leader, a lot of things. Okay, we'll do a very deep dive into everyone, I can assure you that. So we'll start with Mussolini, a very, very easy leader to sort. It's always good to start off with an easy one, and even better, the next leader is another Mussolini. I'll sort the lines with the leftmost leader being the best one in the line, and yes, Roman Empire Mussolini, I think we all can agree is worse than normal Mussolini, because at least this one's realistic. Next we have King Zog. This is a hard one to do first. He's such a good leader, but he's not the best leader. I know he's pretty cool, and I just did that video on him a little while ago there, but I don't think I can give him the S rank, but I think he's a clear A rank, Zog. He's the only leader for Albania in the game. He doesn't have any traits, but he's kind of cool, and he always gets annexed by Italy, so that's kind of sad. Now I have no clue who this is. I think she might be a general. I don't know how she got on this list. Broadhole. I really don't know what ideology he is. He has a really cool portrait, so I think by default he gets into the A tier with that portrait. We have the bird, or is that supposed to be a dinosaur or an emu? I really can't. I don't know. I know he leads the Emu Empire. So, and now we have a great leader, the leader of Bhutan. I don't know what his name is, but since he leads Bhutan, I think that automatically gives him B tier. That's pretty cool. Vargas, besides being able to date him in that one mod I made, I don't really have any strong feelings about him. I have no clue who this guy is. I think he's a Brazil leader like Vargas, but I do not know who he is. Lord Edward Halifax, an amazing leader. You very rarely ever see him, but he is in the game and he can be prime minister. I would put him low B tier. It's always nice to see him pop up. Edward the 8th, who you get if you do the non-aligned path for Britain, which is kind of like the better expansion path for them. He has a really cool focus tree and path. George, much better. George the 6th, I think, if I remember correctly. George the 6th, yeah. He's probably, I think he may be the best leader we have here so far. I don't know. It's either King Zog or King George, one of the two. Chamberlain, peace in our time, man. I think he gets to be, he gets to be down here. Not quite as bad as Mussolini, but he might be the second most incompetent leader. He wasn't the outlier of British opinions, but in the context of the game at least. Now we have Baldwin, which, you know, if we look at history, he supported Chamberlain's decisions, but I don't know, he's cool and he has an amazing trait, and you get to pick all your political advisors at, I think it's minus 35% cost, or I don't think it's that much, but it's such a good trait. Winston Churchill, I think he definitely gets to be right here. I probably would have put him one higher if he had an amazing trait like that one that Baldwin has, but yeah. The leader of the British Raj, Linlith from the dating simulator again. I don't really care too much for him. I've only played as India maybe once in vanilla. Tsar Ferdinand I, the leader of Bulgaria in World War I, who can reclaim his throne in the battle for the Bosphorus DLC for Hoi4. I don't know, he's probably my favorite leader for Bulgaria in the game. I think I'll just put him between Baldwin and Churchill. That's a good place. Boris, he has a kind of cool mustache, so I think that gives him some points. Okay. I'm guessing this is a Bulgarian leader, but I have no clue who he is. The Regency Council for Bulgaria. I don't know. I think it's the only child as a Hoi4 leader, so I think he can, by being a child, he can be up here. I don't know. That's very impressive in such a brutal world to be the child leader of a country, even though it's the Regency Council leading it, but that's okay. And now we have creepy Canada, man. He's been my arch nemesis for a long time. Every time I open up Hearts of Iron 4, I think about this guy. He's probably the scariest leader in all of Hoi4. And that's saying a lot. I don't know if him being really scary makes him a great leader or makes him a terrible leader, but I'm gonna put him right here for being really scary. And I'm guessing this guy's also a leader of Canada, but I have no clue who he is. Okay, and now we're getting to the good leaders like Kai-shek. He's a cool leader, I guess. Mao. Oh, yeah, I better get my social credit today, boys. The best leader. Only if he was still alive to lead the world revolution. The default leader of Czechoslovakia, which I think he has the perfect expression on his face for someone who just got their country torn apart and their land taken because of their allies refusing to defend them. I'll give him an honorary C tier because of that, but other than that, I don't know. Next we have President Business from the Lego movie. That's kind of cool. I think he gets a high C tier for being President Business from the Lego movie. Now we have Santa Claus, who leads Denmark. He can get an honorary C tier for being Santa. Queen Elizabeth II. This may be the first S tier leader. It's difficult. Maybe top of A tier. That's probably better. Collapsed government leader. I guess it doesn't really make sense to rank this with Hoi4 leaders because it's not really a leader. It's just a collapsed government, and it's the same as the Regency Council, so I think that we can still include it. Probably right here. Wallace Simpson, isn't it? Yeah, Edward's wife, who can become the leader of like the Kingdom of America when Britain puppets them in the King's Party path, which is such a genius idea for like the royal leader of America. It's so terrible, but so perfect. Now we have the leader of Ethiopia. I won't try to pronounce his name because I'd probably butcher it, but for being the leader of Ethiopia, I think he gets A tier, right about here. I'm gonna move our Australia Emu Empire guy down to like right here. Yeah. Mannerheim. Oh yeah, the best leader of Finland. I don't think he's even a leader in vanilla. He's just a general, but I don't know. I think it's great that he's in this list. Then we have Leon Blum, or however you pronounce it, one of the many French leaders who go on a merry-go-round, becoming leader one day, and then a new person's the leader the next day, and then they're the leader again. I think I'm just gonna default to putting all those random French democratic leaders at like the bottom of D tier. De Gaulle, yeah, he's a pretty cool leader. He's a good person to have at the very top of C tier. Then we have Mackinson. He has the best hat in the game, and then we have Victoria, who also has the hat, so S tier for the hat. Okay, maybe not. You can't see as much of the hat, so Then we have Wilhelm III. I don't think he's as cool of a leader as Wilhelm II. He's probably right here, yeah, right below the Regency Council. And then we have Wilhelm II. I don't know, is he better than the glorious leader Mao Zedong, the great revolutionary? I don't know, yeah, probably. Ben Horthy, everybody's favorite admiral for the great Austro-Hungarian Empire, turn regent for the Kingdom of Hungary. Hirohito, the only Japanese leader in here, because he's the only Japanese leader who I know besides seeing the democratic portrait of that one guy. He's a good high C tier character, yeah. Then Leon Trotsky, the best leader of Mexico, and maybe the best leader of the Soviets. I don't know. In the new DLC, I'm sure we'll get some other cool leaders. Now we have Puyi. a Japanese puppet in real life, but in Hearts of Iron 4, he can become the next emperor of the Qing dynasty. Or, well, he was the last emperor of the Qing dynasty, but he can reclaim his throne, which is kind of cool. He can be higher than Hirohito, I guess. This guy, I don't know what his name is, but he's probably the coolest looking Mexico leader. Yeah, there we go. Oh, and now another good one. Otto von Habsburg, the leader of the restored Austro-Hungarian Empire. Which for new players, you have to play as Hungary to do that. To just FYI, don't try to play as Austrian reform it, you can't. But yeah, he's definitely up here. I don't know if he's quite an S tier character, but he's maybe the best A tier character. Now we have the leader of Poland. I think he's finally someone who we can put high in C tier instead of low in C tier. the best Romania portrait. You don't see this guy pop up as much anymore, I don't think. He used to be the leader of Romania all the time, and he has such a good portrait. Or maybe he just got a new portrait, so you don't see this one anymore. I think his name's Armand something. I can't remember for sure, but it's such a good portrait. It gives me so much nostalgia seeing this portrait. I haven't seen it in forever. And now this is regular fascist Romania leader. I don't know. He can also be right here, I guess. Joseph Stalin, who's probably going to be ranked a lot higher when No Step Back comes out. But as of right now, in Hoi4 version 10.8, he's probably right here. One of the best leader portraits. It can cause anarchy and become the leader portrait for every country. Switzerland, also pretty good. Yeah, bottom of C tier though. Okay, I did a little bit of rearranging. I feel like there should be more than one person in the S tier, and I'm okay calling Otto an S tier leader and Elizabeth an S tier leader, so that's all good. We also have the leader of Tanatuvo. I remember when they first gave him a leader portrait, I was so happy, and just because I was so happy when they gave him one eventually, I'm gonna put him in B tier, right above the Romania leader guy. I have no clue who this is. Then we have Ataturk. Okay, this is a good contender for a possible S tier here. I don't know, it's gonna be a close one. Him and King Zog, they're about on the same level there. And now we'll finish it off with the American leaders. We'll start with Alf. I don't know, Alf, he's a break from the norm. You see FDR as the leader of America almost all the time in Hoi4, so it's nice to see Alf being leader, but usually when you have Alf as leader, you just temporarily have Alf because you're gonna do America's fascist path, so he usually doesn't stick around for long. There, he can be next. He can be by Winston Churchill though. That's good. And then Douglas MacArthur. He's a fun leader to have as America. He's kind of a surprise leader, I guess. You can just keep him in power forever, which is really cool. The American communist guy. I don't know. I really like his portrait. He kind of just looks like a nice guy. I don't know. He seems kind of happy. So I'll give him honorary C tier for having a cool portrait, but his path is not very good, and I have never played as him myself, besides maybe once. Dewey. He's a unique leader. Probably the US president you see least often, because I think to get him, FDR has to lose the 36 election, and then when Alf is president, you can get Dewey as president. I think that's how it goes. Then Wilkie, who you see as president more often than Dewey, but probably less often than the other guys. And then last but not least, you have William Dudley. His path is it's probably the most interesting American path. I kind of personally like democratic USA because it's fun fighting Japan and Germany, and the historical thing is fun and pretty balanced. But this path is probably the most unique American path. I don't know, but you can do the path as MacArthur, and I feel like that's the better leader to do it as. So, the one leader that should be on this that I forgot though is Napoleon. I'll just edit him in the video. He would be at the top of A tier for me. So That's where he can be. Anyways, that's all. If you guys enjoy, I will do this for Hoi4 mods too. Not like one of these for every mod. I'll just get some of the most popular leaders from every Hoi4 mod and add them into one of about this many leaders. So we'll be ranking ponies next to Wholesome Among Us Soblin. Anyways, that's all for now, and I will see you guys next time.